Welcome back to Finding Your Indie. I'm Bonnie, and I'm here to talk to you about how to build an author newsletter list that lasts. This is so important because we are literally in the middle of TikTok possibly getting banned. There's like this 90-day push out, right? And we don't know what's going to happen. Now, if you have created your entire marketing strategy around TikTok in less than 90 days, that could be swept out from underneath you. What do you have in place? You're going to switch over to Instagram? You're going to switch to Facebook? What about Snapchat? What about one of these new ones popping up? I'm going to tell you right now that one of the most overlooked portions of our marketing strategy is the tool of newsletters. This is probably the least sexy of them all, right? Like nobody's like, oh, look at my newsletter list. The only things that we think that are important is the open rate and the subscriber rate. That's not accurate. There's a lot of things that can happen with the newsletter list. But the first one I want you to think about is who controls it. Yeah, you have to store it on whatever your provider is, like MailChimp, MailerLite, Flowdesk, ConvertKit, Bonity. Any of these things you store it on there. But what happens if you export it? You can export your list, your followings. You can export them into a CSV file and switch to another one, and their email didn't change. Can you do that with Facebook? No, you can't. I've tried. You can't do it. You can't make a list of your subscribers or your followers and take them to a different platform because that's their platforms. That's their followers that you're borrowing. And I know it's like, oh, no, I have this page and I have this many followers. I know people who have millions of followers on TikTok, but those followers mean nothing if TikTok shuts down, if it's no longer available to us here in the US. It shuts down. Instagram is the same way. I have had where I follow some people and they're like, oh, I make $500,000 on Instagram a month. What happens if Instagram shuts them down? This is the same mentality of exclusivity when you're selling your books. So I want you to think about that as we're moving forward and talking about how to build our author newsletter list and how to make sure that it actually is something that is going to work for us. Okay, first, let's talk about the step-by-step ways that you build a newsletter. The first one is you need to understand that this is part of your marketing strategy. Marketing strategies are strategies and plans. They're not just things that you throw at the wall. So when I first started this game, which was about 2007, I didn't know. I didn't understand what any of this was. I didn't understand what a newsletter list was. I thought, oh, I just email certain people from my Gmail account, and that's what we're going to do. And I also manually sent out my reader magnet. Manually. You guys, it was ugly. Okay. It was really hard to do. So it didn't make sense to me at all, but I learned, right? That's what we're doing. We're all learning. And one of the things that I learned is that automating the process makes it seamless for you and your subscribers who are potentially your readers in some interval, okay? They're either signing up for a reader magnet, which we'll come to in a second, or they've read your stuff and they're looking to get your bonus epilogue or just to hear more from you. One thing I want you to not do is to ignore your subscribers. Now, how do I know that this is a bad thing to do? All right, I'm going to put my shame on the wall here. I have a list of more than 12,000. They used to be active subscribers for one of my pen names, extremely active list. And I'm talking like 65% open rate, like extremely active. They did so good. And I got really burnt out on writing. And so I stopped writing. And I was so caught up in the shame of it, like I didn't know what I was doing, that I actually stopped marketing as well. And I pulled back. I did all the stuff for my clients. I did really well for my clients. And I threw myself wholeheartedly into their stuff. But I just couldn't face the fact that I wasn't able to write. And I couldn't figure out why. Well, I know why now. It's time management. And I was thinking I had to feed the beast. Well, the beast isn't a beast, right? It's my readers. So I learned this and it's taken me a little bit of time and I'm okay with that. But I do want you to know that I ignored my readers for well on a year and a half. A year and a half. Sometimes I would send out sporadic emails because, regret. But right now I'm in the process of having to warm up that list and it's going to be hard. And I'm going to probably lose more than half of them just because it's been time, right? I've ignored them and I deserve to lose them because I did walk away. So I will be sending out my warm-up sequence and walking them through, what's been happening and what do I have now. And I've completely changed my method of my writing and stuff to prevent myself from burning out and my business as well to prevent myself from burning out. I do still make good money with my books. It's actually been more stable since I recognized what my problem was and that I needed to focus on marketing. But all of that to say, one part that I absolutely ignored from my tools was my newsletter list. And I am first going to be focusing on that before I move into the rest of my other tools, inspire this, warming up and reliving, or like a zombie, like a resurrection, if you will, of my newsletter list. I wish that I had been more cognizant of that list and taken better care of it. However, I can tell you that with another pen name, I had a VA and she did a great job and she kept that list warmed up. And so I can come back, and it's been a year and a half and I haven't written anything new, but she's kept my stuff relevant and that pen name hasn't lost any engagement. I have had people asking, when's your next book coming out? And so that is encouraging. So the importance of your newsletter list is actually so significant, but we do ignore it. And I don't want you to do that. It is one thing that you own, okay? I mean, you could literally download it from MailerLite, have the CSV file, and you can take that list anywhere. You don't have to just stay on there, okay? Like we talked about a moment ago. So here are some ideas on how to build your newsletter list. Your first one is you want to have an offering, or a sample, if you will, of the things that you write, of the types of things that your brand supplies, okay? So one might be if you want to do something crazy and you're like, I don't want to give away any of my writing, you could do printable bookmarks. I would only do this though for after your reader has been warmed up. So I wouldn't be doing this like as a pre-series sign up, okay? I have seen authors do tremendous jobs of doing quizzes, like which kind of alien romance are you? Or which kind of a dark romance are you? Do you like the bully romance? Do you like the MM? Do you like what kind do you like? Quizzes are great because they get instant feedback. They give you so they get to do like a quiz, like, oh, I like this, or I like this part, or I don't like this, or I don't like this. And then at the end of it, number one, they give you their email address, which you put onto a newsletter list, and then they get told, oh, you would probably really like my bully romance, and then you link to it and say, hey, go check this out. It is so fun to do stuff like that. It's instant gratification, but it's also kind of like a game, right? You've gamified something. So those types of ways to get people into your newsletter list are great. So you need to come up with something, whether it's a prequel to a series, it's something like a bonus epilogue or a bonus chapter or something that will inspire the people to give you their email address so that you can add them and give them something for free. It's like a gift giving, okay? I would definitely be giving your actual already signed up subscribers treats, okay? And I don't mean spend money necessarily, but if, like I was talking about earlier, like a printable bookmark page. I have one that I love it. I think it's beautiful. Well, I made it, but it's beautiful. And it has 3 bookmarks on the page and they can actually download it. And if I can find it, I'll put a screenshot up here, but it's been a while and it's one of my older pen names. So I don't know if I will actually have it up, but just so you know, like there's things that people actually really like. They really, really like to get. And some things they like to get just because it's something free. And so people like that. So you just need to be very cognizant of what it is that you're going to be giving away and make sure that it leads into an automation or a drip campaign that leads them into where you want them to go. So a marketing plan should always have a goal. So what is it you're pushing? Like if you're pushing a specific series, everything that you do in that marketing plan should be doing the main goal of getting subscribers or selling that series or selling that next book or launching for the book. Whatever your goal is, that's what your marketing plan should be set up for. And your newsletter should be the main hub of that wheel pushing you towards that. And some other things that you would do is you would, again, make sure the automation is on par. Make sure that you have tags for these people. So you're not sending them, let's say you did a quiz and they signed up and they got, yes, I got the MM romance. That's the one that I'm going to be tagged at. And if that's what your reader is, and they're tagged as that. So you're not sitting there sending them all of the stuff that's MF because they're really interested in the MM. Now, let's say you're interested, you have like some cozy mysteries and you also have more of a noir thriller going on with one pen name. Okay, that's okay. You can totally do that. But sometimes your cozy mystery readers don't cross over into this thriller reader. So you need to make sure and tag those people and keep them separate as well. You can always offer something later in your list and be like, hey, are you also interested in, noir thrillers? If so, you can check this out. But if not, just stay over here. And then you can actually tag their activities based on what they clicked on and what they like. So your newsletter list is actually something that you can use and interchangeably make it the beast of your marketing, right? So based on their activity, you can be like, oh, people really responded to this image. I'm going to put this over in my social media marketing, okay? Some examples of some really great successful reader magnets that I've seen is when someone who writes a standalone has a follow-up chapter of maybe one of the other victims or of the murderer or, kind of like an anti-villain mentality or an anti-hero mentality of something from before. So it's usually like a couple chapters or something short. Other ones that I've seen are things like a prequel for the rest of the series. And I've done that with a few of mine, and they work really well. And they work not only for the cold audience to actually warm them up, but for a warm audience. Like, for instance, I had in my Romancing Redemption series, I had where at the end of book 1, they could sign up and get the proposal for book 1 for them to be proposed to. And people loved it. They thought it was awesome. I also included that because it's a bonus scene in the box set. So people actually really dove into the box set a lot because it had the bonus scenes in it. So those are some really great ways that you can use reader magnets and these other things. For another series I did where I invited all of my subscribers to put their recipes in, and I would include them in a Clearwater County like cookbook, and their name would be, credited and whatever. And I had about 150 recipes in that, and I let everybody download it for free on a PDF. I didn't make money off of it. It was just for them to have it for a community thing. And people really loved that they had their names and stuff on it. They were like, "Oh, my name is in there. Thank you so much." And I love it. And so that was really fun way to get everybody involved. So it was great. I want you to know that it is totally possible and doable to build your newsletter even today. I know everybody's like, "Oh, it's so hard." It isn't. It takes consistency and it takes a strong brand knowledge. So as long as you understand what you're doing with your brand and you understand what your goal is, this can be one of the most powerful tools in your marketing toolkit that you can use, okay? If you have any questions, we have actually I don't know what it's called, like a course pair, a duo, a couple. It's a 2-for-1 course, and that we have for the low price for 2 courses. We have how to create a reader magnet that attracts loyal fans, and then we have turn ads into growth, boost your reader magnet like never before. They are only sold together. So you have the first course that teaches you how to create the reader magnet, like the landing page, all that stuff, how to deliver it. And then the second part of the second course that is not a part of the first course, but they're married together. The second course tells you exactly how to set up the ads and how to make sure that this reader magnet gets out to the correct people and builds that list with like $5 a day, right? It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but consistent growth is massively important right now. We teach you how to do that. So go check that out. If not, just join our free Facebook group and see what we can do to help you move forward in this awesome year. You have the potential to really grow and really do really well and find your indie, okay? Let us know how we can help in the comments, and we can't wait to see you around.